At the beginning of the story, we see a hunter in the forest who has come to hunt a lion. However, upon sensing a looming threat, the lion itself flees the scene. Instead of pursuing the lion, the hunter begins to run rapidly in the opposite direction. It is then that we realize an unidentified entity is pursuing the hunter, the very reason he is running for his life. We now understand that the lion did not flee because it saw the man. Rather, the lion too had spotted this mysterious entity. In an attempt to save himself, the man leaps into a river. He then struggles to pull himself out of the water, but just as he does so, the unidentified entity drags him back beneath the surface and kills him. And here, we discover, Jack says that this flower is called the Blood Orchid. It's a very special flower that blooms after 7 years. That too in just 6 months. This flower contains chemicals that can extend the lifespan of human cells. Medicines made from this flower can cure diseases. Furthermore, after using this medicine, a person remains young and can live longer. Therefore, if we obtain this flower, our company will benefit greatly and we can make a lot of money. But this flower is only found in the forests of Borneo. Now, it will bloom for only the next 2 weeks, after which it will wither. So, if we extract it quickly, we will lose it. It turns out that there is something in this jungle, something even more dangerous than a lion. Next, we are introduced to a pharmaceutical company that manufactures medicines. However, the company's boss is displeased with his employees because, thus far, they have failed to develop a new drug. The boss confronts one of his employees, reminding him, "You promised that you would soon develop a cure for cancer, so what happened?" The employee, whose name is John, replies to his boss, "I may not have succeeded in creating a cure for cancer, but we have stumbled upon something that has the potential to cure a multitude of diseases." The boss then asks, "What is it?" In response, John signals to his colleague Jack, who then displays an image of a flower on the screen. If we fail to acquire it, we will have to wait another 7 years for this flower to bloom again. Upon hearing this, the company's boss instructs his employees, head to Borneo immediately and secure this flower at any cost. Subsequently, a team of 6 is assembled to retrieve the flower, and they make their way to Borneo. However, to enter the jungles of Borneo, they must first cross a river, and at this very moment, heavy rains are pouring down. Consequently, no one is willing to take their boat out onto the water, as the weather conditions are extremely treacherous. Agrees to ferry the group across the river. However, for this service, Will demands a rather hefty sum. Now, these individuals didn't have much time left, as they had only 2 weeks remaining to acquire the flower. Consequently, they agreed to pay Will his asking price. With that, their journey began, boarding a boat. They traveled along the river and ventured deeper into the jungle. After traveling a short distance, Jack pulled out a map and informed Will that they needed to reach a specific location in order to retrieve the flower. Upon seeing this, Will became visibly concerned and warned them that their intended destination was an extremely dangerous place. Furthermore, he pointed out that reaching the site where the flower grew by following the route they were currently taking would be it's risky. Jack then asks, "You have another route?" Will replies, "Yes, that route is perfectly safe and we can reach the flower spot without any trouble, but it's a bit long, so it might take a few days to reach the flower spot." Hearing this, Jack refuses to take the other route. He says, "We don't have much time, so we'll take this route," after which they continue on this dangerous path. One of the girls in the team goes to her room and hears a strange noise coming from the cupboard. When she opens the cupboard, a monkey jumps on her from inside, hands it to her. Upon seeing this, the girl becomes startled and begins to scream, while the monkey heads straight over and perches on Will's shoulder. It is here that we discover this monkey is Will's pet, and that Will has named him Kong. Now, after traveling all day, night falls and the group continues to make their way down the river. Just then, the monkey spots a mango in a tree overhead. Seeing it, he grabs it with the intention of eating it. However, while he is doing so, the boat moves ahead of him and the monkey is left behind on the tree. To catch up with the boat, the monkey begins making his way through the jungle, but suddenly, something starts pursuing him. Terrified by this, the monkey scrambles up a tree to save himself. Meanwhile, the next morning, Will is searching for his monkey. However, he cannot find the monkey anywhere. During this time, a young woman from the team is speaking with someone on a satellite phone. The satellite phone signals are intermittent, so in an attempt to get a better connection, she moves to the edge of the boat. Just then, due to a sudden jolt, a small gate at the boat's railing swings open, causing the young woman to fall into the water below. She struggles to climb back onto the boat, while the others attempt to pull her aboard using a stick, but suddenly, a crocodile attacks her. Upon seeing this, Will, without a second thought, dives into the water to save the young woman from the crocodile, attempts to save her. At this point, Will succeeds in saving the girl's life, but the crocodile then attacks Will. Defending himself, Will draws a knife and strikes the crocodile multiple times, killing it. Will then climbs back up onto the boat, after which the group resumes their journey forward. Here, we observe that something beneath the water drags the dead crocodile away. A short while later, as they continue moving, a monkey suddenly leaps down onto their dining table from above. It appears extremely terrified, as if it has just witnessed something dangerous. Will calms the monkey down by placing it on his shoulder. shoulder. Now, moving on. As time passes, night falls, and just then, a heavy downpour begins. Observing this, Will says to Jack, "The rain is extremely heavy. So heavy, in fact, that the river's current has intensified significantly. Therefore, we should wait a while for the rain to let up. If we attempt to move forward now, we could even lose our lives." But Jack replies, "We don't have the time. There is only 1 week remaining to retrieve the flower we are after. If we fail to secure that flower within this single week, we will have to wait another 7 years for it to bloom again. Therefore, we must reach that location as soon as possible." Hearing this, Will says to Jack, "All right then, I will brave this foul weather with you. I will get you all the way there. However, for this, you will have to pay me an extra $500. Jack agrees to this arrangement. Now, moving forward. As the journey continues, morning breaks, and the group arrives at a spot where a large number of logs are floating on the water. Upon seeing this, Will realizes that a massive waterfall lies just ahead. Consequently, Will attempts to turn the boat around, but just then, the boat's steering jams. As a result, their boat continues to move straight ahead without deviating. Will panics at this sight, knowing that the waterfall was fast approaching. He therefore wakes up everyone else on board the boat. Now, joining forces with the others, Will tries to reverse the boat, but then the boat's engine stops, and they are now very close to the waterfall. Seeing this, Will realizes that now no one can save them, so he tells everyone to take whatever essential items they have in the boat. Then, their boat plunges down a huge waterfall. Luckily, no one dies after falling into the water below, but their boat is completely destroyed and they swim to shore. They're now extremely worried because they were stranded in the middle of the jungle and now their lives are at stake. They didn't even have a boat to go back. Will then tells everyone that there's another river just a short distance away. A friend of mine runs a boat there. If we can somehow get there, we can reach our destination. Will then calls his friend and explains his situation and says, "I need your help." Will's friend agrees to help them, but asks for $5,000 in return. Will then tells him, "Okay, I'll give you $5,000. The other river was some distance away, so they started walking through the forest to reach the other river. They came across a lake that they had to cross. As people go into the water, Will's monkey climbs a tree and starts screaming loudly as if he's seen something, but no one notices the monkey. Then one of his teammates sees some movement in the water. He tells everyone that there's something that hit his foot and went away, but no one believes him. Then one of his teammates, who is at the back, is suddenly pulled into the water. Seeing this, everyone starts searching for him, and then the boy comes out, but his clothes are torn and he's badly injured. Now, before these people can understand anything, just then, a massive anaconda emerges from the water right in front of them and attacks the boy. Witnessing this, everyone screams in terror, and in a matter of moments, the anaconda kills the boy right before their eyes. Following this, they scramble to save themselves, rushing out of the water, and now they are absolutely terrified, for they had never in their lives seen a snake of such immense size. At this point, Will informs everyone that this is an anaconda, a creature that preys on humans, and that they must now quickly get out of there. John then asks, "What will we do if that anaconda comes after us again?" To which Will replies that for an anaconda to digest a human body takes several weeks. Therefore, we have plenty of time to make our exit from here. At that point, a teammate remarks that we need to reach the boat soon. If we do not reach it by 9:14, we will have to abandon this project right here and return home. Becomes furious and asserts that, having traveled all this way, they will not leave until they have completed the mission, for the flower they are seeking to retrieve is worth millions. The rest of the team then protests, arguing that proceeding in this manner could cost them their lives. However, Jack is a thoroughly despicable individual, and he flatly refuses to return home without securing the flower. At that moment, the boat's captain, Will, tells Jack, "I will get you guys safely to my partner's boat. After that, our journey together ends right here." Upon hearing this, Jack reminds Will, "You made a deal with me." To this, Will replies, "To hell with the deal. I don't want anyone else to lose their life now." At this point, the group decides that they will first make their way to the boat. Once aboard, they will decide whether to return home or proceed with obtaining the flower. Following this decision, they begin moving forward through the jungle. Along the way, Will tells Sophia, "I had actually warned Jack about this danger beforehand, but he promised to pay me an extra $500 on the condition that I wouldn't mention it to anyone else. That is why Jack bears no fault whatsoever. The entire blame for this lies with me. I should have warned you all about the dangers of the jungle in good time." Now, as they are making their way toward the boat, at the mark, they suddenly notice something black clinging to their companion's shoulder, and when Will lifts up his shirt at the mark, they realize that tiny blood-sucking creatures have latched onto his entire body. Will then lights a lighter and proceeds to remove all the creatures one by one. At the mark, after trekking on foot for a considerable time, the group is thoroughly exhausted. Consequently, they all gather together and sit down to rest. At the mark, just as John is about to put on his shoe, one of their Chinese companions spots something inside it and calls out to Will, prevents him from putting on his shoe. Now, as these people look at the shoe, a spider emerges from inside it, and this is no ordinary ordinary spider. Rather, the spider's venom is so potent that a single bite can paralyze a human being. At that moment, Jack, delighted, captures the spider in a box and remarks that they have discovered a substance capable of numbing the body, something that could fetch them a handsome sum of money. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Will's friend, who owns a boat, is shown heading in their direction. However, something suddenly collides with his boat. He begins scanning the water all around him, and just then, he spots something in the water. A massive anaconda suddenly appears. Upon seeing it, Will's friend becomes terrified. He quickly turns the boat around, attempting to head back, but just then, the anaconda attacks from behind and kills him. With no one left to steer, the boat spins out of control and surges rapidly forward. It crashes into the bushes ahead and explodes. Will and the rest of the team, watching from a short distance away, witness the entire event. They rush over to the site of the boat, only to find it completely destroyed. Seeing this, everyone is overcome with despair, as this boat represented their last hope of escaping the area. Now, standing amidst the wreckage, they start searching for supplies and grab whatever supplies they can find, but they don't find what they were looking for. They thought they might find a satellite phone on the boat so they could call for help. They don't find any satellite phone here, and they are now very worried because they have no way to get out of here. They had no idea how to get out. Then their Chinese companion tells them that there are indigenous people living here. They have been in this forest for thousands of years, so if we find them, maybe they can help us. Everyone agrees with the boy's suggestion, after which they all set out to find the tribal tribe. After going a short distance, they find the dead body of Will's friend from the boat. He had been eaten by an anaconda on the boat some time ago and had now been vomited out by the anaconda. Seeing this, Will tells everyone that anacondas become very lethargic after hunting and only release their prey from their stomachs when they sense danger. This means that there are more anacondas in this forest. Therefore, we must somehow reach the tribal tribe before dark. Otherwise, they will be killed by the night. In the darkness, this anaconda would kill us all, one by one. Consequently, the group resumes their journey shortly thereafter. At the mark, they arrive at the village of the indigenous tribe. However, they find no tribespeople in sight. The entire village lies completely deserted. After venturing a short distance further, they discover the carcass of a massive anaconda, inside whose stomach lay the dead body of a human being. Upon seeing this, they realize that the tribespeople must have killed the snake, likely because it had attacked them, and that the villagers have since abandoned their home and fled, knowing that the surviving companions of the slain snake would now come after them. They will come to attack. This is the very reason why the villagers abandoned this place and left. Now, finding themselves without any assistance, even from the villagers, the group becomes completely despondent. Will then suggests, since we must now fend for ourselves, why don't we all work together to build a wooden boat? Upon hearing this, everyone embraces Will's idea. Subsequently, they gather wood and begin the process of constructing a boat. Meanwhile, while Jack is searching for materials to build the boat, he spots a blood orchid flower. Upon seeing it, Jack calls everyone over and informs them that the blood orchid flowers must be growing somewhere nearby. Furthermore, Jack realizes that the snakes have grown to such immense size precisely because they have been feeding on these very blood orchid flowers, and now Jack resolves to secure the blood orchid at any cost. He wanted to get the flower, so Jack tells the others that they should find the blood orchid flower, but no one agrees, and this angers Jack. Meanwhile, Will has assembled a boat from several pieces of wood. It's just a matter of time before they leave. Here, a teammate named John has a badly swollen foot, causing him pain. John opens Jack's bag to find something to apply to his foot. He thinks he might find some ointment or bandage in Jack's bag, but when he opens Jack's bag, he finds a bandage, a pistol, and a satellite phone come into view. In fact, this pistol and satellite phone belong to Will's friend, the one who was coming by boat to pick them up. However, midway through his journey, an anaconda devoured him, and his boat crashed into the bushes and exploded. Later, while the group was searching through the wreckage of the exploded boat for essential supplies, Jack stumbled upon this pistol and the satellite phone. Yet, Jack chose not to tell anyone about the satellite phone. He did this because he did not want to summon help to their location. Had help arrived, a rescue team would have taken them away, and the blood orchid, the very flower they had traveled all this way to find, would have remained behind, forever out of their reach. Witnessing this, John becomes furious with Jack just as Jack himself arrives on the scene. He asks him, "When you had the phone, and we could have called someone here for help, why didn't you tell us about it?" Upon hearing this, Jack replies, "If help had arrived here, we would have left without obtaining the flower. That is why I hid the satellite phone from you guys." Hearing this, John becomes even more enraged and declares, "Our lives are far more precious than any flower. Now, I am going to tell everyone here about this stunt you pulled." Saying this, John uses that very satellite phone to call the police and summon help to their location. However, before John could manage to speak to the police, Jack throws the poisonous spider, which had been confined in a box, onto John's hand, and the spider bites him. As a result of the bite, sight, John is left in a critical condition. He begins to writhe in agony. Jack then places the spider back into its container and starts to leave the area. He heads straight toward the rest of the team, where everyone is preparing to depart. However, they notice that John has not yet returned. Consequently, Sophia goes to check on him. When Sophia reaches John, she discovers that he is completely unresponsive and has become fully paralyzed. She also spots a spider bite mark on John's arm. Realizing this, Sophia immediately understands that Jack is behind the entire incident. She confronts him directly, saying, "You were the last person to be with John. What exactly did you do to him?" He isn't saying a word. Meanwhile, elsewhere, we see that a large anaconda has now approached John, and that snake attacks John, causing him to scream out loudly. People outside hear John's cries and realize that he is in danger. Consequently, everyone rushes toward John. Upon reaching the spot, they discover that an anaconda has swallowed John alive. Witnessing this, everyone is overcome with grief. When they return to the river, they find that Jack has stolen the boat they had built and fled with it alone. This leaves everyone utterly despondent, as they are now stranded once again. And to make matters worse, an anaconda is also lurking nearby. However, they do not lose heart. Instead, they devise a plan to steal their boat back from Jack, reasoning that he is currently at the site where the blood orchid flowers grow. He must be going there, and when Jack parks his boat in the river and goes to pick flowers, we will secretly steal the boat from him. They start moving forward through the jungle in pitch darkness, and then their Chinese companion falls into the river water. There, a large anaconda comes and eats him, and now the snake starts chasing them. After which they run fast and enter a large cave. It is very dark inside, and then they see a light at a place from where they could get out, after which they come out one by one. But as soon as their last companion, just as he is making his way out of the tunnel, he gets stuck inside it. Now, the moment everyone works together to pull him out, an anaconda thrusts its head out and attempts to devour him. However, Sophia swiftly intervenes, decapitating the anaconda with a sword and killing it, thereby saving her companion's life. But just then, a second anaconda emerges from behind and snatches away the very same companion they had just rescued. Will immediately gives chase to the anaconda, and just as the anaconda climbs up a tree and is about to devour their companion, Will hurls a knife at it from below, striking the anaconda in the head and killing it, and the anaconda releases their companion. Meanwhile, Jack is shown reaching the location where the blood orchid flowers grow. There, he finds himself standing before a multitude of blood orchids. Seeing these flowers, Jack is overjoyed, for he knows they are about to make him a fortune. Meanwhile, the rest of the team, having tracked Jack, finally catch up to him. They stealthily keep a close watch on him, and the moment Jack moves to cut the flowers, they seize the opportunity and quickly head toward the spot where Jack had docked his boat. However, before they can take the boat and make their escape, Jack hears their voices, and just then, upon arriving, Jack holds everyone at gunpoint. To instill fear in everyone present, Jack shoots Will in the shoulder. Will is severely wounded, and the others are terrified by the sight. Exploiting their fear, Jack hands a bag to Sophia, points his gun at her, and orders her to retrieve the blood orchid flowers. "If you refuse," he warns, "I will kill you." To fetch the flowers, taking the bag, she begins to make her way toward them. However, to reach the flowers, Sophia must cross over a fallen tree. When she looks down into the pit below, she sees two. There are male and female anacondas in the midst of mating. Upon seeing this, Sophia becomes extremely terrified, yet steeling her heart, she pushes forward and reaches the flowers. She then quickly begins plucking the flowers and stuffing them into her bag. As she turns to head back with the bag now filled to the brim, she tells Jack, "You have to throw your gun down, otherwise I will drop this bag full of flowers." Hearing this, Jack flies into a rage. He fires a shot in the direction of her friend and warns, "If you don't throw that bag over to me, I will kill your friend." Left with no other choice, Sophia is compelled to throw the bag toward him. However, the moment Jack reaches down to pick up the bag, Will attacks him from behind. Consequently, the bag slips from Jack's grasp and falls some distance away. The spider inside the bag then crawls out. Just as Jack picks the bag up again and slings it over his shoulder, the spider bites him. Consequently, Jack's body becomes paralyzed and, still clutching the bag filled with flowers, he tumbles down into a pit below. Waiting there are two massive anacondas. Meanwhile, Sophia is attempting to make her way toward her friends. However, at that very moment, she too falls down into the water below. Luckily, the two anacondas are currently focused on Jack. One of them seizes him and kills him. Seizing this opportunity, Sophia quickly climbs back up to rejoin her friends. But just then, one of the anacondas spots them and begins to pursue them.